Well, happy Monday. Happy Wednesday. Having one of those weeks already where I'm not sure what day it is. Um, but I think I do remember that I have an appointment today, and it must be Wednesday. So I hope everyone's hump day is going well. Whenever you're listening and replaying this day's message, I trust all is well. Today, here in this part of my world, it is May 1st. Happy May Day. Blessed Beltane, and all the memories that may come up for so many of us around what traditions have been around this time of year. It's a grand new spring. It always was my favorite month of the year when I was growing up for a lot of reasons. One was the weather, and one was the flowers, and another was um, in my growing up, I was part of the Catholic teaching and tradition, and Mother Mary was big, celebrated all through the month of May, and we got to make wreaths and flowers and have processions and songs. It was just a fun time for me. So I have other memories of other traditions that I were adapted along the way, and um, it's just a special time. So interesting um, moment is that for me now is that I'm having a lot of memory, not just of what I'm just talking about here, but memory of other dimensions. Uh, I've been noticing in my dream state when I wake up, sometimes somewhere in the mid cycle, several hours after I've fallen asleep, I wake, and I'm remembering pieces of the cosmic aspects of dreams. And that could be, I mean, I don't know why, but that could be that it is, for me, a little more mm, integrative into my body experience, such as when I do travels during my trance states. I know I receive all of that, and I have memories, and I speak of it sometimes so that I can retain those memories and that experience. And all of that does integrate, but I feel like maybe in the dream state, it's a zone of consciousness that is really um, sometimes very awake, but like lucid dreaming, but oftentimes it is still that in between zone of consciousness between the body awareness and the other things, whether they're psychological or soul pieces that need to come together. So I just thought I would share that. I'm wondering if other people are having a lot more vivid dreams. It's not just related to me like the cycles of the moon and things, although that could have an effect upon it. But it is just right now, almost every night that I wake up, I have a memory of that. Um, an awareness that whatever it was going on, that it was a very interdimensional kind of soul thing, not just, I don't know, some days when I've had dreams, it's like uh, the healing of fears I have about one of my kids or something like that. So a lot of that goes on, but I think for me, this current stage of dreaming has been another way for my soul to reintegrate into all the journeys that are happening. So, with that, I'm feeling time. Time for the message. So, enjoy, everyone. See you in a short while. I greet you, beloved souls, from the ray of love of the divine, which holds itself in the fullness of truth, the fullness of the law, the fullness of the faith that one has as you bridge through all the work and all the play of these times. I am called El Morya, and I am grateful to share these moments with you. This day I have chosen to speak with you about your role in bringing forward the enactment of the divine will. Divine will is not, as so many often think of it, coming from a singular point of a being, a singular being that is named as God, but the entirety of the divine, which more and more humans accept as probable, as real, and as very much easier to access than it might be to be in a worshiping or praying state to a thing, a person not here with you. So this divine law is that which permeates all creation because it is coming from the frequency of love, not the human emotional love that can be so much distorted by understandings and misunderstandings of obligation with one another here and romance and so forth. Those are wonderful elements of love expressing. But it is the love which is, by any other word, power. By any other word might be the frequency of the activity of one. So your role in bringing forward this divine will is to be ever vigilant to your own inner compulsions, to overlay your understanding, your fear, your limited self as will. Perhaps you can call it that when you are in a fight, as you might perceive it, to overcome, as you might think of it, certain matters of your emotional and mental world, your physical life, to regain the so-called control. And I keep saying those kinds of words because we know that those are all limited ideas, but humanity operates in those ideas. So, willpower. Interesting use of the word will and power as it is used oftentimes. That a human will to power over or power through circumstances that are not to their best liking or comfort. That serves to have that idea and to have that sense of power that you may claim in your personal world. But the truth of all of that continues to be that all power is given you through this divine creation, this frequency of one. So some have known of a prayer, a decree, a conscious declaration that is called the Great Surrender. And it is when the humanness of your being is willing to claim, I will to do thy will, or in some such word. For the thy would mean in the entirety of the whole, the one divine love of the God presence, the divine realm. That surrender which unifies your human capacity to will yourself through troubles, trials, tribulations, to continue to live through, but with greater ease when there is a merging of consciousness of the human will with the divine will. It is that the powering through is much more graceful, simplified. The overcoming is more integrative because it's not overcoming something which is judged, but recognizing that there is a rising up and a going forth of all your energies toward an intention, a goal, and a purpose greater than the limited ego has ever determined was important. So some example of this might be your limited mind, your egoic personality may crave sweets and sugars and very tasty things. And you have been learning as you have matured beyond the childhood stage that perhaps these are wonderful treats, but they could not be sustaining for your entire life as your only food source, right? One moment. And yet, the desires for such things often drive one into neglecting the bigger picture. And to sustain a more balanced form of eating and pursuing pleasure, one might rely on what they call their willpower to say no to these things, to say yes to the things which they think they ought to, that they should consume. This is a bigger topic for another time, perhaps, with other masters who perhaps play better in this realm. But I'm just creating for you now an example of how human will power is used to try to force an energy, oftentimes. And it may be necessary. But the more you surrender that human will into the divine greater will, the easier the choices become, the more graceful you are at transitioning from one activity into another activity, all in greater service of who you are as one being, united with one divine realm, the Godhead, the divine of all life. So what can you anticipate occurs in a moment that you fully feel the surrender? To decree it is one thing, to stand in that is one thing, but to be in it with the breath and the decree of light that you bring forward, and if you choose to visualize the blue ray coming in and through your being, resonating especially through this part of your body as you speak it forth in a decree, that may assist you to feel the power of will, the power of creation, the law of life itself expressing. So your human will and divine will create this dance of life becoming more synchronistic, enjoyable in so many more ways than you might have thought possible. What occurs when you are living in the divine will as guiding and moving in and through you, what you will experience, perhaps, is that you are not fighting with light. You're not arguing with yourself or with others. You're maybe not having decisions which cut off possibilities be your guiding truth, but choices become your empowering truth. You might anticipate that some of the energies you will feel as you complete moment to moment a great surrender is that life presents you with things which may not feel good, may not feel pleasant, may not feel aligned for the greater good. But you will not react in fear or anger with that so much as you will react with compassion, with love, and the empowerment of your breath of at one mint, which then gives you the vision of how to be, how to express in the midst of all of that, which could be considered chaos, could be considered by some the antithesis of the divine will. But I will consciously give you this piece of remembrance. It is not serving you to believe that anyone who doesn't agree or understand or align consciously with this in your vision of truth is your business to change, to fix, or to judge. It is your business to love it and appreciate it for its expression, and to give it the loving presence of your will, let it come to its perfect moment of re-entering an awareness of the possibility of all humanity, all life expressing in all places. As you think of places, all life forms and thought forms everywhere to be in this alignment. In the divine will, there is allowance for all of these things which are at war with itself. In the divine realm, in the ascended realm, we are not in sadness the way humans would be in sadness about it. We feel the frequency of disalignment and we keep extending the love and the possibilities for the completion of the unifications that are sought. Human mind will continue to observe life and to seek to command it by demanding it to be a certain thing. Decreeing is not demand. Commanding is not demand. The distinction here is that demanding is your insistence that the way you see and the way you understand, the way you feel is the one truth. Demand. You can demand if you want to go into a place of service for customers and demand a refund. Maybe that works. But when you command yourself and the law to be one in you, that is your alignment process. Commanding is your being at one with and having clarity of the purpose that you get to carry forth through your human life now. A commander of a ship is the boss, right? Or maybe the one in charge, as people would think. So be it. Certain religious organizations, businesses have commanders, chiefs, presidents, appointed and accepting of a role to be guiding. Whether they realize it or not, their role really is to continue to guide with the union of all in mind. While it is true that many individuals will enact their personal will and personal power in those roles, humanly we know that that would be perceived as wrong or sad or distorted. And we see it also as an alignment process of demonstrating how life can be moved through, even in these moments of distortion. How good can come through it, even if it is enacted out of selfishness or foolishness or disregard. Can you hear from what I'm saying all the ways in which day to day, moment to moment, human life is asking for peace, oneness, and you alone in your world can be the commander of all of that by your surrender. In that surrender, unifying with the greater one, the law, love, power, truth. So, beloved friends, as our friend Michael, known to you often as Archangel Michael or Lord Michael, is a gift presenting to humanity some of the great tools for aligning to this will of the divine. By clearing yourself of the things which are in the way, in the illusion of discord, tugging and pulling at your awareness, your consciousness, your divine path. So we speak in the same words that your truth your power is available in your now breath. I will to do thy will. Thy will be done in me, through me, as me. Some of these words have not always been put together in the ways I've just used them, but they have been around a long time as reminders. A great teacher that has come to your earth to share this divine spark and some of these great teachings has said many good things, but in this moment I repeat these ideas. It is the Father through me which does these things, these great works. I am not the greatness. The Father through me is the greatness. The Father in all is the greatness. It is important that you find whatever way you're receiving the concept of life as power, love, truth, and the divine will to organize everything into its perfect harmonious union. That is wherever you find it. You find it in ancient writings, in wonderful poetry, in the artistic beauty that is created. You find it in speaking of great leaders that have been in and around the world, as you know it now. The message comes from a child who simply says, I love you. Knowing in that innocence that they are not in love with you, they are not owning you, but they appreciate and expect nothing of you except the presence you have in that moment. Perhaps it is in the phrase of a famous quotation that somebody has made, writing it into a book or a movie or a film that you observe. It is all there. The messages are there. Wherever you can receive it, let the reminder be there with you. When you feel limited and pain, your prayer of surrender opens the door, opens the gates of heaven, so to speak, for that divine intervention to continue to join with and assist all that needs to be moving in and through you for healing of self and the world. I say, these are my great purposes here with you. May I be a beacon of this ray of light that reminds you evermore that we are one. Thank you. Hi. Wow, thank you. I don't know that I have words right now. So I invite you to, if you haven't yet found our way to our daily messages from Spirit, come to the link. I'm sure Daryl will put it somewhere in this, or you can find it on our website, and consider then playing with us as we do our once a month on the first Saturday of the month, a Zoom with one of the teachers, one of the great masters and angels. And that's all I want to say right now. Happy May Day, everyone. Blessings to you. Enjoy. Hope it's springtime or perfect autumn wherever you are. Thank you. Namaste.